Some good signs last year, but he ended the season on the disabled list. But he knows how to pitch, and it's a great opportunity for him. The better he pitches tonight, the better chance he's going to have to stay in the rotation.
92 degrees at game time. Marco Scutaro hitting .304, and he's got 40 walks already. He was a part of the 6-3 win for the Blue Jays last night. Well, a lot of yelling off the top tonight.
I could hear that guy during the open yelling.
Well, he's an enthusiastic fan, and there's a lot to be happy about if you're a Ranger fan right now. They're 4 games up in the AL West. The Blue Jays are in a dogfight in the AL East. Again with the yelling.
Wow.
Is that our Yeller?
That's our Yeller.
That's old Yeller?
That's some kind of fan right there, boy. Never going to say anything bad about a Ranger fan. He can yell all he wants.
Fly ball to center. Marlon Byrd going back and still back. Marco Scutaro is hitting for power and stuff too. It's a really odd start to the broadcast tonight. Aaron Hill will come up. By the way, we're expecting to hear from Rangers GM John Daniels very soon and tell us what we need to know about the lefty who's been compared to everyone from Cole Hamels to Clayton Kershaw. 18-year-old Matt Perk. And boy, out of the Houston area, the pitchers that have come out of there just in the first round, it's a pretty impressive list, from Josh Beckett to Roger Clemens to Scott Kazmir. And before we anoint Matthew Perk as the next great thing, we'll learn what we can about Matthew Perk as we go along tonight. Obviously, the numbers are staggering coming out of high school. If you're a first-round pick, it stands to reason that you have dominated at the high school level. Hill was a first-round pick himself, and he is told here that he went too far. It's 1-2.
Yeah, some kind of movement on that ball. Hill started to swing when the ball looked like it was going to be a strike, and then it just nosedived down and in and out of the strike zone.
Mathis is the 9th starter the Rangers have used already this year, out of Sholo, Arizona. And just turned 26 a couple days ago, did Doug. That ball clipped into the crowd. He had a start at AAA, actually in Round Rock, Oklahoma, at Round Rock, where he gave up 7 runs in 4 innings. That was exactly 4 weeks ago. Since then, he's allowed 1 run in 22 innings, including the inning he pitched for the Rangers on this past road trip. On the ground, third base, Michael Young. Got him, 2 down. With Josh Hamilton on the DL and out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see a lot of Marlon Byrd in center. Brandon Boggs flanks him in left. Nelly Cruz in right tonight. Young, Andrews, Kinsler, and Davis. It is now a freshly shaven Chris Davis once again, by the way. Mathis and Saltalamacchia team up as a battery. Chris got told he looked 19 today, now that all the facial hair is gone.
Well, if Chris looks 19, then Derek Holland looks about 14.
Chris said he just never made good friends with that mustache. It was just too hot. You get all sweaty and gross during the games. He said, I'm happy to grow it out during the winter maybe, but just can't do it here in the Texas heat. Boy, in on the hands right there of Rios. Andrews recovers. Rios wasn't exactly flying out of the box, and it might have cost him.
Yeah, Rios, he either wasn't running or he's hurt, because he can run pretty well.
Yeah, Andrews was given time to make that play. And Doug Mathis has a 1-2-3 first inning. The mound for Toronto. He's about to face Ian Kinsler in a scoreless first inning. And top to bottom for the Rangers, brought to you by Southwest. Kinsler, Young, and Andrew Jones. Then Nelly Cruz and Marlon Byrd, who's hit safely in 12 of 13. Brandon Boggs and Davis, Saltalamacchia, and Andrews. And as long as we got a lefty starter on the mound, we will kind of segue to the fact that the Rangers just took a lefty, a big lefty, in the first round of this year's draft. That just about an hour ago. And we're going to get to Jim Knox momentarily. He's standing by with John Daniels, the Rangers GM. And Knoxy, if you can hear me, go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Josh. John Daniels talked about the first pick by the Rangers, Matthew Perk. Can you tell us a little something about him?
Yeah, sure. Well, first, I want to congratulate our scouts, the scouting director, Ron Hopkins. Randy Taylor is the area scout here. And this is an exciting day for the organization, but really that department that they put so much into it, and this is a big day for them, really big week for us, adding new talents to the organization. But Matt Perk's a tall, projectable, left-handed starting pitcher from the Houston area. We think is going to have a long, successful career with the Rangers, and we're looking forward to bringing him into the organization.
Right now, some of his pitches, he's got a fastball they say has been clocked in the mid-90s.
The thing with Matt is that he's not a thrower in our estimation. He's a pitcher, and it's the life on his fastball and the command of the fastball more so than the velocity that stood out to us. He's got an advanced breaking ball. He's makings of a pretty good changeup, and he's a pitcher, not a thrower.
Okay, well, we know you got a lot of more work to do. The draft is continuing right now. We'll let you get back to work. Appreciate the time. Thank you, John. Josh?
All right, thank you, Jim, and thank you, John Daniels. Congratulations. And just to kind of continue on that point about how he's already a guy that is really into the art of pitching. There's a story that was written about him in the Houston Tag that he wears a silver number 47 around his neck as a tribute to Tom Glavine.
Wow.
His favorite major leaguer. And Tom Glavine's his favorite major leaguer because Tom Glavine is absolutely a guy that is all about the nuances of pitching, not just the all due respect to Josh Beckett out of Houston, but Josh Beckett was just firing when he came out of high school. This is a guy that's got talent, obviously, but also wants to be known as Glavine-esque.
Well, when you look at his high school statistics, a lot of things stand out. One thing that stands out is high strikeout total, low walks total. In fact, an incredibly low walk total for high school. And so if his fastball can reach the mid-90s and he has that kind of command of his pitches, who knows? Maybe he could be Tom Glavine. And maybe a harder throwing version of Tom Glavine. We'll see.
Glavine also available right now, too, ironically, with his 305 wins, just released by the Braves. Well, Baseball America had Matt Perk as the second best lefty available. Tyler Matzik, I guess, is number one. And then came Perk. I think the Rangers had to be thrilled that he was still on the board at 14.
There were a lot of pitchers being taken in the first part of the draft. Not many position players.
Steven Strasburg out of San Diego State, as expected. The big righty went to the Washington Nationals, and that is a franchise that absolutely needs a franchise player right now. Michael Young up in the air to right. Just a quick snapshot of how bad it's going for Washington, Tag. They're 15-40, and obviously that's pretty bad. They're 18 games out already in the East, but I guess last week they were having a fireworks night, and there's been some conjecture. Did you hear about this? There was a problem with all the, it's a kind of a residential type area, so there were some complaints about shooting off fireworks in the first place, and the team said, no, we got it under control. And no kidding, the ashes and the embers from their fireworks show landed right on the head of the fire chief from Washington, D.C. That will get you in trouble.
Well, that's the bad news. The good news is they've evidently satisfied the complaints and the problems, and they're free to have fireworks again. So I guess they're okay now.
And now they've got Steven Strasburg, if they can sign him.
Now the fireworks begin when they try to sign him.
3 fly ball outs. The Rangers are done in order against Brian Talent. No score at the end of 1. Winning ways. They have suddenly lost 2 straight here at home. They have not yet lost 3 straight at home at any time this year. Busy day for the Rangers. Last couple of days really have been busy days. Jason Grilli has been acquired from the Rockies. He's a relief pitcher that has done some things in the big leagues. We'll talk more about him as we go. Chris Benson outrighted. We'll see if he accepts that assignment or not. You might know that Brandon McCarthy already is on the DL. And Guillermo Moscoso has come back up, at least for now, from AAA. There's Jason Grilli, who was with the Rockies this year, was with the Tigers for a couple of years. He was a one-time number 4 overall pick in the draft, 1 pick ahead of the guy batting right now, Vernon Wells for Toronto. So welcome Jason Grilli, the newest Texas Ranger. I would think that Moscoso tag is here maybe just for a day when Matt Harrison is activated to hopefully make his start tomorrow, or on Thursday I should say. That it might make sense for Moscoso to head on back, but we'll see how it all shakes down.
Yeah, you never know. It could look that way right now. We'll see. But the Rangers, you don't want to be short out in the bullpen on any given night, so they did whatever they could to make sure that didn't happen tonight.
Math is getting the start that McCarthy was supposed to get. Again, McCarthy's going to be lost for several weeks, it would appear. Vernon Wells makes just a bit of contact there.
A real good movement on Doug's 2-seam fastball that he's throwing. He's getting it to sink. He's getting it to tail in to the right hand hitters. A good example of it right here. Ball really sinks down.
Wells reaches out and socks it towards center field. Backing up Marlon Byrd. It's over his head. Now Marlon's got to go pick it up. And Vernon Wells is going to hightail it towards third base. He's going to make it with a triple. Looks like the ball is carrying very well to center field. Marco Scudero sent one out that way. And this time it is Vernon Wells who triples to lead off the second inning.
That tries a 3-2 curveball, but it stays up. It's out over the plate. And Wells is strong, obviously. He drives it to dead center. Marlon goes back, can't quite make the play, and then the ball kicks past him, and Wells has excellent speed, and he ends up with a triple.
Infield back, and the first pitch coming into Adam Lind, down too low. Lind has got the best numbers of any designated hitter in baseball right now. Kind of an underreported thing. You just don't hear a lot about players from Toronto. But he loudly announced his presence to us last night. He had the 2 home run game. Andrews waiting on it. His play will be at first. So Toronto takes a 1-0 lead on Lind's 42nd RBI of the season.
Good changeup right there from Doug. Got Lind to hit it off the end of the bat. Reach for the ground ball off the shortstop. But what you want to do in that situation is obviously make sure you put the ball in play. Got the infield back. Try to drive it back through the middle so that if you do hit a ground ball, you get to run it. So we accomplished that.
Scott Rowland taking down and outside. One-time second-round pick of the Philadelphia Phillies. We mentioned Mathis, a 13th round pick. I remember him telling us he had one bad weekend for Mizzou against the University of Texas in Austin, and though he had thought that maybe he'd be a 7th or 8th round pick, he felt that that kind of lost weekend right before everybody was getting their drafts in order might have cost him a few rounds. He walks Rowland. Now he's got to deal with Lyle Overbay. Last start that Mathers had for AAA Oklahoma, that was a 3-hitter over 7 innings against Albuquerque. And he's facing a Toronto team tonight that leads the American League in hits. And, you know, when you dive inside the numbers a bit, Tag, this is a challenging week for the Rangers and their pitchers. Because the team coming in next, the LA Dodgers, they lead the National League in number of base hits.
Well, the Rangers just got done playing a couple of teams in their home ballpark that can definitely hit. The Yankees, probably one of the hottest hitting teams in baseball the last 3 weeks. And then the Red Sox. So not only coming up, it's been pretty challenging starting about a week ago.
Obviously, the Rangers acquitted themselves well with that 3-3 road trip to New York and Boston. But now coming home, so far a 6-3 loss, and they're trailing 1-0 tonight. On average, Rangers starters are going about 6 1/3 innings this year. Last year at this time it was an average of 5 innings. So Nolan Ryan's edict has taken hold. He wanted that extra inning right out of the starters. That's exactly what he's gotten, +1.
Yeah, you have to be obviously pleased with the durability of the Rangers starters, how deeply they've pitched into games, how well they've pitched, helped out by the defense. Quite a change from last year.
And the standings back it up. The Rangers at 9 games over, 33-24. 4-game lead on the Angels. 5 on Seattle. You know, Oakland is close to within 6 in the loss column. The A's suddenly from out of nowhere have won 7 straight. Did not see that one coming.
No, when the A's played here, certainly the first 3 games of that series, didn't look like they'd be capable of putting together any kind of a streak like that, but they've won 7 straight.
Just outside. That is Gary Darling calling balls and strikes tonight, by the way. Veteran umpire, the crew chief. Bill Hahn is at first. He's got a more interesting mustache than even Mike Maddox. Our first base umpire tonight is the guy that if you have a mustache fantasy league going, this is your #1 pick.
Looks like the same mustache Bobby Valentine wore on the Mets bench about 10 years ago.
Yeah, but Bobby's was removable.
That one's not?
Well, not without, you know, the.
Well, that's a big league mustache right there, boy.
If only Chris Davis had kept his.
Hey, he's a big league umpire. He should have a big league mustache.
Kevin Millar will bat with 2 on and just 1 out. Millar's got the big league, what is that, soul patch, I guess? Not quite the, well, maybe a goatee. I guess that's a goatee. Infield hangs a double play depth. For a guy that does not hit the ball on the ground that often, Millar has a kind of uppercut swing. And year in, year out, he is right up there among the leaders in terms of number of fly balls hit over the course of a season.
The only ball the Blue Jays have hit hard was the hanging curveball that Vernon Wells hit.
That ball's hit pretty hard, too. Boggs will gather it in. Rolen is heading to the plate, and he is going to score. So 2-0 Toronto in the second, just like yesterday.
You get behind to big league hitters, and then when you have to come in with a fastball, they become much better hitters. And Millar, 2-0, got a fastball to hit. That one didn't have a lot of movement on it, and he hit it pretty well.
Two walks, a triple, and now a double in the inning. And another guy that hits just a lot of fly balls coming up, that is Rob Barajas. I think I said double for Millar. I meant a single for Millar, driving in the run. The Rangers have turned a lot of double plays this year. In fact, the second most in the American League. But again, these Toronto guys tend to hit line drives and fly balls. There's a strike, 1-1. Toronto had lost 9 straight on the road before yesterday. Rangers had one good shot to overtake the Jays last night when it was 4-0 in the 6th. The Rangers put on a 3-run rally. And they were looking to tie the game and maybe go from there with the suicide squeeze ordered up, and they asked a 20-year-old to get it done. Elvis Andrus was just so mad at himself that he did not make contact. It was not an easy pitch on which to make contact.
You know, in spite of that, I don't think Ron would hesitate to try that same thing again with Elvis. I think he's got all the confidence in the world that he can succeed.
Oh, my goodness. Elvis ready to turn the double play. Barajas, obviously not a real fast runner, and I think Elvis had more time than maybe he gave himself right there. He hurried, lost the handle, and that's an E6.
That's something. He bobbled the ball in the first inning too, but still got real. Something we haven't seen over the last 3 weeks. And that ball took a nice easy hop to him, and as he went to transfer the ball and flip it to Ian, it just clanked out of his glove. I think he just took his eye off the ball and tried to do it a little bit too quickly. Good pitch by Doug to get the weak ground ball with a slow runner. Would have been an easy double play.
7th straight game in which the Rangers have made an error. They had a string right before that where they went 9 games in a row without one. So just kind of a sloppy stretch top to bottom. Marco Scudero, who is second in the league in walks, steers the count to 2-0. We talked a bit about Scudero yesterday. A remarkable, out of nowhere kind of a season for him. This has always been a handy guy to have. But he's not supposed to have been on base more often than Albert Pujols by now.
Yeah, he's having an all-star kind of season right now.
Fans are getting antsy.
It's an unfortunate inning. Doug kind of dug the hole when he walked Roland and Overbay, but at the same time he made the pitch to get out of the inning, but the double play wasn't turned.
Well, and even to start the inning, that ball that Vernon Wells hit, getting over Marlon Byrd in center field. Scudero hits it hard and by a diving Michael Young. 2 runs are coming in for Toronto. They've got a 4-0 lead in an inning in dire need of a mulligan. Scudero just keeps getting it done. And the Rangers are trusting Mathis to find a way out of this. There's no action in the bullpen or anything like that. Now the double play is still in order. But man, the failure to turn that double play costing the Rangers a couple of runs here. If you missed the news, the Rangers have drafted in the first round. Their second round pick is soon to come. And they took out of Klein High School in Spring, Texas, just outside of Houston, Matthew Perk, very highly regarded lefty pitcher. Little squibber. Kinsler's got to wait for it, and he will take care of Hill, who advances the runners. I was looking at the number 14s over the years, and in terms of pitchers, from Don Gullett to Todd Van Poppel and many shades in between all that. Jeff Weaver was a number 14 overall. Ron Vallone, Chris Carpenter. The Rangers picked once at 14 in franchise history. That was back in 1980. And a forgettable pitcher by the name of Tim Mackey was the number 14 overall that year. Mathis has got it. And is out of the inning. It is a 4-run top of the second for Toronto. Cruz, Bird, and Boggs coming up when we come back. Classes join up a little bit. Let's go to Jim Knox. Hello, Jim.
Thank you. Hello, Josh. Great night, Community Corner. We have Bill Moore, chairman of the DFW USO. Let's get that chant going, Bill.
Go USO.
There we go. Of course. I'll put my hat on. You're good. This supports morale and welfare of the troops. So a great organization, a great help you guys are doing, Bill.
Well, thank you. This is about half of the crowd that we normally have at the airport on any given day. It supports 400 or 500 soldiers that come back from Iraq and Afghanistan every day at the airport, and we take care of them when they come through. They'll touch of home.
We always see it in news reports. You guys do a terrific job. For those who want to get involved, what do they need to do?
Just go up on the web, and it's uso.org /DFW.
Okay, uso.org.
Yeah, /DFW.
There we go. Okay, keep that chant going. Let's go. It's sounding good out here. Bill, appreciate it. Good seeing you.
We're glad to have you.
All right, thank you. Josh?
Hi, Jim. Thank you, and welcome, everybody. Nelson Cruz, who's just been mashing the ball the last 3 weeks, and pretty much all season, really. He's already got 17 home runs. Stretches out and pokes one in the air to right center. The Rangers have hit 4 very high fly balls so far, their first 4 at bats tonight, but so far Brian Talent has not allowed a base runner.
Well, the Rangers faced Casey Jansen last night, who for the most part had been a relief pitcher. He had some injuries, but he had a season with Toronto where he appeared in 70 games. They've turned him into a starter for this year, although he's had experience doing that. Talent's the same thing. In his big league career, he's been primarily a reliever. 152 games in the big leagues, only 6 starts. And he's had 3 really good seasons for the Blue Jays in relief. 381, 347, 288 ERA last year in 51 games. But they've had a lot of injuries to their young starters, and so they've had to go out and find some starting pitchers, and what they've done is they've turned a couple of relievers into starters, and Talent's been doing a pretty nice job for them.
Jesse Litch is headed for surgery. They just learned. I mean, they've had all kinds of issues, and yeah, a guy like Talent able to step in.
Markham, McGowan, 2 really good mid-20s young starting pitchers. Haven't pitched this year.
Talent's a scary looking dude up there, 6'6", and goes about 250. I remember when the Rangers and the Blue Jays were going through customs together coming out of Toronto. I distinctly remember thinking, who's that guy? Man, Brian Talent.
Most guys generally weigh more than they say.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't look like he weighs 250.
No. Definitely looks 6'6", though.
He definitely does.
Out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. Now lives in Baton Rouge. Second round pick for the Indians back in the year 2000, ahead of Grady Sizemore and Cliff Lee, who were not taken by the Indians, by the way. They were traded to the Indians. And again, we're going to talk a lot about the draft tonight. It is ongoing for the first 3 rounds anyway this evening, and then picks back up tomorrow. Wave and a miss by Marlon Byrd. And the first strikeout for Talent.
The Talent coming into this season had a career 349 earned run average in relief. He's not a hard thrower. One of those guys that you like to refer to as a crafty left-hander. He's got a good changeup, good command of his pitches. Kind of all arms, legs, things flying at you. Probably some deception in his delivery. Doesn't look like he's the easiest guy in the world to get the good part of the bat on.
And throughout his career, especially this year, righties have really struggled against him.
It looks like that would be the case because of that changeup that he throws. The opponents have only hit .210 against him this year.
And lefties have hit higher than righties.
A good look at his delivery. You see the glove comes up, and that tends to hide the ball from the hitter.
Brandon Boggs sends one deep to left field, going to the track at the wall. It will not get out, but it will not be caught. Boggs thought about third. He's going to jam on the brakes. Boy, another one of those hovering at fly balls off a Ranger bat. Finally a base hit. And the first hit at the big league level this year for Brandon.
I thought off the bat that would be enough to be a home run. Gets a fastball, gets a good swing at it, and the pitch is right down the middle of the plate, right in the heart of the plate. It looked like he hit it on the good part of the bat, but for some reason it didn't carry out of the ballpark. And Lind actually was in position to catch the ball. It didn't go over his glove, just didn't go in his glove.
With 2 out, a chance for Chris Davis to get the Rangers right back in it. That's great for Davis. We've seen a lot more of 0-2 as opposed to 2-0 regarding Chris Davis at bats. When he's in the driver's seat, good things tend to happen. On the outside edge this time, 2-1. The Angels are winning their game early tonight. Right now the Rangers trail 4-zip. Talent squares the count 2-2. Now the Angels are on the kind of road trip that the Rangers were just on, one that will certainly test their mettle. They had to go play at Detroit, now playing at Tampa Bay. Wasn't too long ago, a road trip to Detroit and Tampa Bay wouldn't have been thought of as really a big deal at all. But
no, not anymore. They were just able to play pretty well in Tampa Bay. I mean, in Detroit.
They did, yeah. Got the Yankees and the Red Sox going head-to-head tonight. Boston's got a 5-zip lead there. Now the Angels leading James Shields in Tampa Bay tonight, 3-0 in the 6th. Right now the Rangers 4 ahead of the Halos, 5 ahead of Seattle.
Rangers and Angels have both been 5-5 over the last 10 games. Seattle's been 7-3. Oakland's been 8-2.
There is a lot of head-to-head still to come between the Rangers and the Angels. 16 games. Outside, good at bat for Davis. Saltalamacchia waits on deck. The walk for Chris Davis. Who, by the way, is 5th in the All-Star balloting. With that first base position in the AL, there is quite a battle for first right now between Mark Teixeira and Kevin Youkilis. They are about 1,000 votes apart for number 1. And Tag, we got to mention that Jared Saltalamacchia is right now the number 2 catcher in the All-Star ballot.
Very nice.
Great job, Ranger fans, to recognize what Saltalamacchia has done this year. Joe Mauer's kind of running away right now. He's got about 1 million votes. But Salty is in second, just barely ahead of Jason Varitek and ahead of Jorge Posada as well. That's awesome. Number 2 in the league right now. Gonna flick this one into the crowd. Updating Josh Hamilton, who probably will just be getting ready to play ball again around the All-Star break, is among the outfield leaders. Kinsler continues to lead rather comfortably over Dustin Pedroia at second base. And again, a lot of people checking off Salty right now, second behind Joe Mauer.
Talent, again, opponent's batting average is .210. Two things have hurt him a little bit this year. He's walked 32. He's walked about 4.5 batters per 9 innings. Been a little bit prone to the home run. He's given up 9 home runs. But he's been tough to hit. Well, that's the key with Talent, is stuff is not overpowering, but you get in trouble when you swing at pitches out of the strike zone. That's what he's trying to make you do. If you can have real patient at bats and make him throw you a strike, you have a much better chance, especially as a team.
35 pitches in the top of this inning, and now there's about to be 25 in the bottom of the inning. This after a lickety-split first inning. That's one thing that Ron Washington pointed out after the game yesterday that just wasn't there for the Rangers for the most part, that big 2-out hit. We'll see if they can get that from Saltalamacchia here.
Yeah, Salty had a big hit in that 3-run rally yesterday. Laced a single into right field off Hill's glove.
Two on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. We will do it again. That one fouled into the still gathering throng here in Arlington. I was going to say a free kid Tuesday tonight. Nice. Kids 13 and under getting in with paid admission.
Alex Rios plays a real shallow right field. Salty has line drive power for sure. It won't take much to get one in the gap to right field where Rios is playing.
Talent deals inside, and the runners will get going now. Elvis Andrus is on deck. Boggs did not take the bait.
And even if he did, he could have gotten back. There's no one covering second base anyway.
Right. All part of the master plan to prolong this inning, which has already been about a half an hour inning.
Let's hope Salty prolongs it right here with a rope somewhere.
Runners go. Foul ball.
Oh, good swing and a fastball.
An 8th pitch of this at bat coming up. With a soft breeze blowing tonight and about 90 degrees here in Arlington. Rangers trying to rally in the bottom of the second. Dialed it down and struck him out. Long at bat, long inning ends. Toronto 4, Texas nothing. Future of Ranger baseball, their first round pick is in the books, and it's a native Texan. It is Matthew Perk out of Klein High School just outside of Houston, where David Murphy went to high school as well, and Lyle Lovett, if that matters to anybody. Here's some video. The lefty, 6'3", and comes from a very athletic family, we're told. He's from a family of basketball players. His dad played for Denny Price at Sam Houston State. His brother Jason coaches basketball now at a high school. Now Vernon Wells out of Arlington, Texas, from right down the road of this ballpark, matter of fact. He takes a strike. Well, Doug Mathis trying to establish something here after that 4-run top of the second. 2 quick strikes on Vernon Wells. One interesting thing, Tag, we're learning about Matt Perk and his background, that Rangers first round pick. He actually was born and was raised initially in Lufkin. And then his dad got transferred to Houston. His mom was running a tea room in Lufkin and still does that, apparently. The family commutes between the two stops, commutes between Houston and Lufkin. And there was all the playing of summer ball, travel ball, and all that anyway for Matthew Perk growing up. So apparently this is a guy who is used to being in a car. Wells sending one over towards Davis, who will reach out and make the catch.
The other thing that he's done that has given him excellent experience is pitching international competition at various levels the last few years. So I think when you get a kid like that that's traveled and played internationally, obviously he's played on some really good summer league teams, a little bit easier for him to leave home and go out and play minor league baseball because of the experience that he's already had.
He pitched a very solid inning in that Aflac All-American game. It's kind of a showcase game for young prospects. A 9-pitch inning, perfect inning that he pitched. That one rings the corner to Adam Lind. Perk is the third first-round high school lefty from Houston that the Rangers have taken. Brian Bohannon about 20 years ago. And you might remember David Clyde.
John Danks, too.
From outside of Austin, right, was
Right.
Danks?
Yep.
Round Rock. That one's a little closer this time for Adam Lind.
We've got a lot of people to talk about tonight, Josh.
Boy, no kidding, huh?
First one, we need to thank Mr. Charles Kitchens. Do you know who he is?
I do not.
He is the peanut brittle king of Erath County.
Oh, that Charles.
That's
Oh,
the Charles Kitchens.
that
I'm
Charles
talking
Kitchens,
about, from
okay.
Stephenville, Texas. Charles, thank you very much for the huge batch of peanut brittle you sent to us today.
that stuff was good. Adam Lind stays hot. Base hit into center.
That ball looked like it went right by the glove of Doug Mathis. Don't
Yep.
know if he had a chance to get it or not. Not that easy for the pitcher, as close as he is to the batter when the ball sits back at him. Let's take a look. Nope, too hot to handle. Well hit ball up the middle.
All right, who else are we thanking?
Well, we want to thank Bob Smalley. Dr. Bob Smalley is a retired physician from LaGrange, Texas, who sent us an incredibly large batch of delicious kolaches.
Those things will be consumed for weeks.
They came from the, I might not pronounce this right, Weikley Bakery, W-E-I-K-L-E in LaGrange. Thank you very much, Bob.
Nothing like a legit Texas kolache, boy. Roland's going to send one towards the right field stripe, and Nelly Cruz pulls up on it. It bounces in front of him. 2 on and just 1 out.
And Nelly had a decision to make there. I think he was afraid that if he went for it and didn't catch it, it would bounce by him for a double or a triple and score a run. So he played it conservatively, waited for it to bounce, and played it into a single.
So now Roland's been on base twice, and it brings up Lyle Overbay.
Let's see. We have one more here, too. We need to thank Sue White from Tyler, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
She's the one that donated the stocking caps to us tonight. She also makes them for Coats for Kids Project in Tyler, the Salvation Army, the Cancer Center.
I got a nice red stocking cap. You got a blue one.
You got red. You know why?
Why is that?
She thought you would look very good in red with your dark hair.
No, thank you.
She thought blue would do better for your lack of hair, Tom. So she's probably right. Thank you very much, Sue.
Very thoughtful. Fly ball towards left. Boggs was playing in, has to zip back on it. Still going back at the track and makes the catch.
That ball really carried.
Yeah, the ball definitely is flying out towards left and center tonight. Boggs is looking around like, did that ball really get that far?
Probably a little tough to see in the overcast right now. So thanks to Bob Smalley for the kolaches.
Right.
Sue White for the stocking caps. And Charles Kitchens, the peanut brittle king of Erath County. It's been a great night.
And wait a minute, there's
We're
more.
not done?
No, because I got Aero bars in
Whoa.
honor of the Canadian team being in town. I got my favorite Canadian chocolate bar from Matt and Amanda Thomas, and they actually sent some for you too. So between Canadian chocolate and stocking caps that Tom's trying to put on right now. There you go. That is so you. And I got the full-on aero bar experience coming. So
well, evidently one of us said it was chilly in Boston, and so Sue decided that she would make sure we wouldn't be chilly again this year. So thank you very much.
You're going to make me put on my red one right now, aren't
No,
you?
because I don't have any hair and it doesn't mess my hair up. It's a little different with people with hair. I understand.
I'll
you
play
can show
along.
it, though.
Hang on. Got to take my headset off. Hang on.
Ah, she was right. She was right. You look great. You look great in red.
I feel great. Somewhere they're out there watching going, I thought it was like 92 in Texas. Why do they have toques on? What is...
Haven't you ever been in the gym and see guys come in with these on and just sweat like crazy?
Yeah,
there must be a reason for it.
They don't look like us, though. And they're
No.
usually not eating aero bars. That one missing to Millard. You do understand if the Rangers come back and win this game, there are going to be people that insist we wear these pretty much all summer, which will make for two very sweaty people.
I can handle it for a short period of time. Those are really nice hats.
Very nice
Thank
hats.
you very much.
Next time we're in a city that's, 50-ish, 60-ish degrees, bring them out.
2 walks for Overbay tonight.
I refuse to remove my toque until this half inning ends. And
Okay.
it's kind of a political statement. Barajas reached on that error, that costly error last inning. It preceded the Marco Scutaro 2 RBI base hit.
Also want to say hi to Jill McDougall. She's recovering from hand surgery, recuperating at Baylor All Saints Hospital. Jill, hope to see you out at the ballpark and can't wait for your hand to get better so you can keep score out here.
High fly ball again. The ball jumps to center field. Marlon Byrd, though, having raced back, has time to get under this one. And Barajas flies out to end the inning. A 0 in the top of the third. And now the hats come off as the Rangers come up. Ranger Baseball being brought to you by Whataburger, just like you like it. On the field, not going real well yet. It is 4-0 Toronto. Off the field tag, we have big doings. Not only did we get free peanut brittle and free kolaches tonight and free hats, Canadian toques, actually. We got emails saying we look like Bob and Doug McKenzie in those things, which is pretty cool. Andrews takes outside. But remember last night, we threw it out there that we just didn't know whether to refer to next season as 2010 or 2010.
Right.
And we decided that we'd go right to the most respected voice in baseball to find out where to go, and that would be, of course, Vin Scully.
Fair enough.
The Dodgers are coming to town soon. And I was able to, through the Dodgers PR department, reach Vin Scully today, and actually the Dodgers PR man, great PR man Mark Rogoff, has just now texted me. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The verdict is in.
Final answer.
Right. We decided that whatever Vin Scully says, we do.
Yep.
Period. Straight up, 2010.
Whoa.
Says Vin Scully. That's
good.
That's what next year is going to be called.
Good.
Not 2010, but 2010.
2010. Okay. I kind of 2010 had a good ring for me, but I'll go with Vin. 2010.
He also wants to know if there's anything else we need. I'm texting back. Nope, we're good. Thank you. Andrews takes a strike.
But we reserve the right to ask later.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many more important things to ask Vin Scully than that. I know. I feel if it's like a genie and you get 3 wishes, that's brutal that we blew one of them. Yeah. Upstairs, and as the Rangers try to rally now, Elvis Andrews is on. Ian Kinsler's coming up.
Well, again, walks have been a little bit of a problem for Talent, not a terrible problem. Walked Chris Davis with 2 outs, but he got out of the inning. Hopefully, the leadoff hitter to the 9th place hitter will kind of set the stage for the top of the order.
By the way, the great Eric Nadel, who is due back to work tomorrow,
wow,
which is awesome.
Must have had a nice night last night to come back so quickly. I had no idea he'd be back so quick.
Oh, he's apparently watching us with the sound down. He just emailed in, says, why are we wearing toques? That one way outside to Kinsler. Well, Eric, we are so glad, if Eric's got the volume up now, we are so glad that you're coming back earlier than expected. Eric had the eye surgery on that road trip. And he says through email today that he could be sporting the pirate patch tomorrow over the one eye, but he'll be back. If only we were playing Pittsburgh, but instead it's Toronto. Steve Busby's done a great job filling in for Eric with Dave Barnett. Kinsler taking on the outside edge, 1-1. Yelling guy is back. Seems to reload about every 10 minutes.
That's a new one, I think.
New guy?
New yeller.
They swap in and out every couple
the other
innings?
Ranger fan has some people with him now, so he's not yelling quite as much.
Gotcha. Nice crowd expected tomorrow night. It's a $1 hot dog night tomorrow. A Dr. Pepper autograph Wednesday as well. Game time 7:05 with Kevin Millwood on the mound tomorrow. Pitch out, nothing happening.
Well, Ron likes to run. That's a good count to run. You've got a good runner at first, good hitter at the plate who can make contact. Good guess right there by the Blue Jays.
Kinsler takes a big swing and fouls it back. Kinsler's hit safely in 8 of his last 9. Had a couple of home runs on that road trip. Ground ball, Rollins got it. 5-4-3 double play. And Brian Talent, kind of an underrated guy for Toronto, pitching well so far tonight. The Rangers have been averaging better than 6 runs per game at home. About a third of the way through it tonight, they have not scored. Michael Young out in front. Baltimore's got a 3-0 lead on Seattle tonight. That game's in the 7th. The Royals lead the Indians this evening 4-3. That's in the 6th. Tampa Bay trying to come back against the Angels now, Tag. It's the Rays to within 1 at 3-2 in the 7th. And the Red Sox are taking it to the Yankees tonight 6-0.
Well, the Yankees haven't done too well against the Red Sox this year.
That is Josh Beckett with a 1-hitter so far through 5 innings. He has struck out 7.
Oh, the Yankees, maybe the hottest team in baseball over the last 3 or 4 weeks, went into Boston feeling pretty good. They had A.J. Burnett on the mound. The Rangers saw him throwing the ball pretty well. He's gone already in Boston. They pounded him for 6 runs.
Michael Young lifting it towards left. That's a 1-hitter so far for Brian Talent at the ballpark tonight. Blue Jays 4 and the Rangers nothing. Starting on next Tuesday, and on that Tuesday night game, the first 7,500 kids 13 and under get a Red Rangers batting helmet. Compliments of Dr. Pepper. 972 Rangers, the number to call. Get your tickets, or go online at TexasRangers.com. Allie, are you under 13? But still, you have the red helmet, and it looks lovely. Red helmet next Tuesday, and Allie will wave at you. So. It's all good. Not so much on the field tonight yet. It's Toronto 4 and Texas nothing. Doug Mathis had a rough patch there in the 2nd. All 4 runs coming in.
One of the runs was unearned, but if the Rangers turned what looked like a double play, then it would have only been 2 runs in. The Rangers lead the league in turning double play, so that has not been a problem for them. And that was really one of the easier chances they've had.
Marco Scutaro sends one foul. I notice that one fan seems to yell more often when Marco Scutaro's up than any other fan. Or any other Toronto player. Here it comes. At least he picked the hottest all-around hitter that Toronto's got to get on. Marco Scutaro leads the entire league in runs scored. Hey, it worked.
Finally got him out.
Andrews got him. All right, now another loud person coming your way. We go to Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you, Josh. Hey, big party going on in the upper home run porch tonight. The Keller swim team, Keller Central swim team on hand, having a good time, right, guys? Yeah! Now, the girls won the district championship. The boys, not so good. I think they were dead last. So why were the girls so much better than the boys?
Because girls are just better than anything than boys.
There we go. Okay, now there is good news, guys. They have a big-time transfer coming in next year. Going to help anchor that 400 free. Go ahead and stand up. You ready? Sammy Sanders ready to anchor that 400 free. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Nelly Cruz, a leaping catch in right field. Out number 2 as Aaron Hill is denied.
That was pretty. Long run. Showed a lot of ability right there with the speed to get back. And then a jump right in front of the wall. Nice play.
Very graceful. Ball, no strikes to Alex Rios. The Blue Jays have 5 of the 6 hits in the game so far. Gotta like the tempo, though, that Mathis has, especially with nobody on base. Just kind of gets it and goes.
Yeah, he had a nice first inning. They just got himself in trouble in the second inning with a couple of walks.
Can he field his position? Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3 in the top of the 4th, and now the Rangers coming up in the bottom of the 4th with the 3, 4, 5 hitters on display. Right now. We mentioned Jared Saltalamacchia is up to 2nd among American League catchers. Kinsler is leading at 2nd base. And Josh Hamilton is among the top 3 vote getters among outfielders. Josh had that surgery yesterday. We're told it went very well. He's supposed to be heading back to the Metroplex tomorrow from Philadelphia, where the surgery was performed. Andrew Jones socks it but foul. Time for Andrew to get going again. He's in a bit of a spin. I've seen that batting average fall down into the mid 260s. Reaching out, and there's Roland. He's been playing with a bad back. You see him going kind of gingerly after baseballs like that, but he made the play on Andrew.
Hey, still making the plays. Showed pretty good range there going to his left. Turned a couple of important double plays, one last night, one tonight. And he's hit the ball pretty well, too. Roland came into the game at 304. He's 1 for 1 with a walk tonight.
Still, the only hit for a Ranger tonight is from Brandon Boggs, his first hit in the big leagues all year.
Well, Tallett's doing a great job of changing speeds and keeping the ball away from the middle of the plate. Not an overpowering fastball, but Good assortment of location and changing speeds. Getting the job done for him. There's a good changeup right there. That's what he struck Salty out with to end the second inning with a couple of men on. Ball tailing away from him. He gave up 5 runs in his last start to the Angels. But wow, talk about being fooled by a changeup.
Man, that's 3 in a row. Nelly never did see a fastball.
Prior to that, in 6 starts, his ERA was right at 3, and he was averaging almost 6 2/3 innings per start. That's pretty good for a guy that was a relief pitcher pretty much his whole major league career. He settled into the rotation. He's doing a real nice job.
Marlon Byrd can get his batting average back to 300 with a base hit right here. Marlon's been doubling up a storm this season. Check your forward leaderboard. Marlon has 19 doubles. 2 of the guys ahead of him are in this game tonight. Hammered to left, but not enough. Marlon Byrd spiked his bat as soon as he hit it. Knew he didn't quite get all of that. It's still a 1-hitter for Brian Talent. We'll go play the 5th. It's Toronto by 4. In the first 15,000 fans 14 and older receive a Rangers reusable, very environmentally friendly bag. And Allie is back for more modeling. Without the helmet, but with the green bag. That is very nice. 3 tips for living green come on a tag right with this very nice looking green Ranger tote. I feel like I'm working for PBS here all of a sudden. Very nice. Thank you, Allie. That is the Wednesday the 17th game, the Rangers and the Astros. 972 Rangers, the number to call to get your tickets, or go online, TexasRangers.com. Very important to go green, Tag.
Go green. Or go blue, if you're a fan of the Michigan Wolverines.
Some of us in this booth attended the University of Michigan.
That's right.
Like you.
Yeah.
Vernon Wells to right. Nelly Cruz coming on. He will make that catch. Doug Mathis, who played at Missouri and played very well there as a Missouri Tiger. Again, speaking of guys going off to college, the Rangers are hoping to convince 18-year-old Matt Perk out of Houston that maybe he doesn't have to do that. He is already committed to TCU But the Rangers drafted him in the first round just about 2 hours ago, and they're hoping they can sway him and say, why don't you come be a part of this? Rangers are on the clock right now, getting ready for their second round draft pick, by the way.
That's the one they got for Milton Bradley, right? The compensation pick after the first round.
I believe that is correct. High fly ball towards left off the bat of Adam Lind. 2 home runs yesterday, and he has hit out another one. He went opposite field yesterday once. One of the 2. He goes opposite field again, and it's 5-0 Blue Jays.
Oh.
And apparently it's just one of those nights, Tag, where if you get the ball high up enough in the air to left or left center, it's just going to keep on carrying.
Well, you know, that's the way it looks sometimes. That ball's tailing away from him. Really didn't look like a home run swing. Either the ball's carrying or he's a really strong kid. But Brandon Boggs hit a ball that looked like he hit it pretty well to left field, and it didn't get out. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on.
Boggs keeps going back and back and back, and he's just out of room.
But it definitely didn't look like a home run swing, or it didn't look like a home run off the bat either. But it sure carried out of the ballpark.
Rolen walked on 4 pitches back in the second inning, and then singled in the third. It looks like we're getting some information in now, Tag, on the Rangers' second round pick. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, a hard hit baseball from Rolen. So following the home run, it's a single. No action. Well, there is going to be action now in the Ranger bullpen. Mike Maddox out to the mound. Well, you mentioned that the Rangers drafting in that compensation round awarded the 44th overall pick. There's Guillermo Moscoso getting ready. And according to the information we're getting right now, Tanner Scheppers, the right-hander, has been pitching in the American Association for the St. Paul Saints. And before he hurt his shoulder last year, he was on course to go among the first 10 picks of last year's draft. But that injury dropped him down, and he decided not to jump in as the 48th overall pick going to the Pirates last year. He just went ahead and signed on with the Independent League team instead, going back into the draft. And the Rangers look like they will take a chance on Tyler Scheppers with their second pick in 2009. So far it's been pitcher and pitcher, right? It's been the lefty high schooler.
That sounds like a good pick. I mean, anytime when you're picking 40-something in the draft and you have a chance to add a kid who a short time ago was ranked among the top 10 or 12 players in the draft and then was injured, I don't think the Rangers would have picked him if they didn't have a good feel for his medical report. That's a good pick. That sounds like a great pick.
Out of Fresno State, which is a very high-quality college program. Another big guy, 6'4", 200. I guess initially was an infielder at Fresno State, but has learned to pitch and obviously throws hard. And we're told that, I'm just reading this out of Baseball America right now, Dr. Louis Yoakum gave him a clean bill of health heading into the draft this year. Very highly regarded arm guy.
Well, I have to think that sitting in the draft room right now, the Rangers are really happy with the first 2 picks that they got. Got a high school lefty that looks like he has a lot of physical talent as well as polish. You don't always see that with a high school kid, no matter how quickly he's drafted.
Kinsler to Andrews for the out. 1 run in the inning. Adam Lind with his 3rd home run of this series to make it 5-0 Toronto. Check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Boy, it is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag. It's on. Brian Talent has emerged in this game as being the big storyline. He's got a one-hitter going against a team that has been scoring all kinds of runs. The Texas Rangers have managed only one hit, that from Brandon Boggs, who will lead things off in the bottom of the 5th. An exciting day off the field with the draft underway. And again, if you missed the news, the Rangers in the first round getting Matthew Perk, a very highly regarded high school lefty. In that supplemental round in between the first and the second, they get Tanner Shepard, 6'4", 200-pound righty with plenty of college experience. And now even some professional experience with the St. Paul Saints of that American Association. I saw one report here tagged that stuff-wise, one of the scouting services says Shepard might have the second best starter stuff in this draft.
Wow.
So for him to be available at number 44, that's pretty cool. We should mention soon after 44, just moments ago at number 49, Dallas Baptist had Victor Black chosen, their big right-hander, by the Pittsburgh Pirates. High fly ball from Boggs. Adam Lind will find it. Still just one hit for the Rangers tonight. What's it like, Tag, for the scouting director or the GM that night before the draft? I mean, I'm sure you've got ideas of what's going to happen. Is it a sleepless night? Or?
I think it's an exciting night as much as anything. The night before the draft, obviously, you have a huge meeting with all your scouts to continue to put your draft board in order. You've got a pretty good idea of what you want to do. But unlike in the other sports, even in the first round, there's a nice swing by Chris.
Yep.
Unlike other sports in the first round, and even the second round, you don't have the slightest idea after the first few picks how the draft is going to shake out. And it's not uncommon for you to put, say, a list of your top 25 players. You would think out of your first 25 players in your draft list, that might last for a couple of rounds. But frequently, you might get someone on your list of top 25 in the 5th or 6th round. You just never know. It's such an inexact science when you're talking about 17 and 18-year-old high school kids and even college kids. You have a little bit better idea about the projectability of a college player than you do a high school player. But all teams look at the players differently. A lot of difference of opinion on the players. Some teams might like a kid in the first round. Another team might not like him in the 5th round. So you just never know going into the draft. But to get back to your question, the night before the draft, I think it's just an incredibly exciting time. You look for the opportunity to add talent to your organization. As John Daniels said in the first inning of our ball game, the scouts do so much work. Some scouts put 30, 40,000 miles on their car going around seeing junior college kids, high school kids, putting their own draft list together for their territory. So they're really excited. And it's the culmination of 6 or 7 months of hard work, not to mention in years before that, the information that you gather on these kids. You have to go get scout signability done on all the players. They take psychological tests that you have to compile. So an incredible amount of work, and then it all unfolds today and tomorrow as you see what you're able to add to your organization.
Well, I'm certainly no expert, Tag, but I think the way that this is going to be portrayed is if the Rangers are able to sign the first round guy, and if the second round guy is healthy, that is a double shot of wow. You know, I mean, because you get 2 great arms.
Yeah.
And, you know, if there are mild questions, one would be about signability. The other would be about clean bill of health. The Rangers must feel that they've got good answers for both of those concerns, if you even want to call it them. But, boy, I mean, to get those 2 talents among the first 50 picks, that's great.
Yep. I would guess that they're really happy with the way the draft has gone so far.
And if you're new to the program, the Rangers already, according to Baseball America and a lot of other people that track this stuff for a living, they've got the best farm system in baseball right now. Looks like they're simply going to add to that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like these two picks are going to hurt their standing
Right.
among their peers.
Salkalamakia extends and drives one to right. Davis has got to retreat now. And the inning left to Elvis Andrus.
Talent just has a real knack for disrupting your timing and making you hit the ball anywhere but on the sweet spot of the bat. And it just is a real good example of how a left-hander with some deception in his delivery, barely an average fastball, but with a real good changeup and good command of his pitches, can be really tough to hit. Guy that's been a reliever all his career, doing a nice job for them as a starting pitcher right now.
Elvis takes a strike. Well, again, the second pick for the Rangers, that's what he looks like, folks. That is Tanner Scheppers. They say he's already a guy throwing 98. And this is right around where he was picked last year. Actually, it was 48th instead of 44th. But again, he, on the advice of his agent, just kind of went right back into the pond, threw himself back in. Andrus works the count. Kinsler waits on deck. The Rangers, boy, you know, you get Andrus on, and you're still just waiting for that one big swing to get the Rangers back in the ball game. Kinsler could certainly supply that.
Elvis, he works the count to 3-1 and then takes the 3-1 pitch all the way. Knows you're behind 5-0. Know you need base runners. Know he's got the big guys coming up next. So instead of just going up there looking for a fastball 3-1 and wailing away at it like so many guys do, he's up there working the count, trying to get on base.
Now he's going to poke it up in the air towards first. And Kinsler is left on deck. A two-hitter for Talent. 5-0 Toronto. Fireworks Fridays, you can get $10 tickets and $5 parking to see the Rangers and Dodgers this Friday. If you enter Fireworks as a coupon code at TexasRangers.com, you take advantage of those savings. As sponsored by 105.3 The Fan. Who's that good-looking gentleman right there?
The good-looking one will be Jack Dykert on the right.
Well, what about that fellow on the left? Who's that?
The distinguished man on the left, that would be our fearless leader, our producer, the Baron, Kurt Von Dykert.
Well, what's he doing out there then?
He's enjoying the game with his son. He's taking the night off.
That's cool. The Dykerts are about to watch Guillermo Moscoso take over on the mound. This is a guy the Rangers got in the Gerald Laird deal from Detroit. It's our Verizon call to the bullpen. The Rangers got 5 innings out of Doug Mathis tonight. He allowed 5 runs. And Moscoso, who has spent obviously most of this year in the minors for the Rangers. And a guy with a real live arm. We've seen him once at the big league level, at least in the regular season. We saw him a little bit in spring training too. Last year between A-ball and Double-A for the Tigers, 122 strikeouts and only 86 innings. And he only walked 21. Oh, for Mathis tonight, he really just had that one inning where things got away. That second inning, a baseball that got over the head of Marlon Byrd off the bat of Vernon Wells, went for a triple. And there were some walks. There was that error. A big hit from Marco Scutaro in that inning to knock in 2. Adam Lind added a home run in the 5th. But boy, the way Adam Lind has been swinging the bat, not really a whole heck of a lot of shame in giving up a home run to Adam Lind these days. One of those runs unearned, charged to Mathis. Three walks, no strikeouts. The Rangers have not struck out a Blue Jay yet tonight, on a night where Brian Talbot has pitched exceptionally for Toronto. There's a walk. Well, the number 9 guy has walked twice, and as you might remember from Rod Barajas, he's not a guy that walks that often. Marco Scutaro steps in. Jim Knox is standing by with someone who's been yelling at Scutaro all night.
Yeah, the loudest fan in the stands, especially when Scutaro comes to the plate. What is it that you have against Marco?
I don't have anything against him. It's just he's kind of got a funny sounding name, and it's easy to yell out. So we've been yelling at him ever since he was with the A's. I gotta go. Scutaro! All night long!
Now, you also followed him around in spring training, is that correct?
Yeah, when he was with the A's, I was surprised. We'd go watch the Rangers play the A's, and I'd go heckling him out at the A's games.
And one time he did. Oh, go ahead.
Scutaro! Up here!
Now, he has actually noticed you at the ballpark one time, correct?
Yeah, a couple times. One time he was playing short. I guess it was a couple seasons ago. And we got into his head pretty good. He made 3 errors that night and just having a really bad game. Got up to the plate. We were heckling him there. And, so he noticed us. He turned around and kind of gave us the stop. You know, I hear you. Just let me bat, you know.
All right, one more time.
Scutaro!
There we go. All right. Del, long-time season ticket holder, too, guys, right here. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Del. Good job.
Mrs. Heckler is in on it, too. The silent partner. So apparently that's what it takes to get heckled.
Wow.
It's a
Now,
heckleable.
if you're Marco Scutaro, you have to be thinking, what is going on? Why me?
Yeah, what did I do? I had a heckleable last name, and then
Poor guy leaves the A's, goes to Canada, and they're still heckling him.
what if he ends his career in Japan? Does that guy go over to Japan?
I got to think he's on the next plane.
Scutaro-san. Hill will send one into the crowd. Trying to get back to some updated scores for you in just a moment. See how those Angels are doing tonight as they're back to within 4 of the Rangers starting action this evening. Ground ball slowly hit. Michael Young will scoop it up, go to second base. That is the one out they're able to get. The 5-4 fielder's choice. All right, Tampa Bay has come back with a run in the bottom of the 8th. It's now the Angels 4, the Rays 3. Guess who's hit a home run for Tampa Bay?
Deanna Navarro.
I'm in your head on this one, I know. Ben Zobrist.
Oh, man.
Number 12.
Guessed him last night. Should have stuck with him. I thought you were trying to deke me again.
Alex Rios, ground ball, second base. Kinsler's got it. And a nice inning for Guillermo Moscoso. Rangers yesterday started hitting right about now, bottom of the 6th. Capital idea, gentlemen. Time to get going. The Sonic Slam inning brought to you by Sonic, and the jackpot worth $500 plus tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for 2 at Sonic. Good luck to Benny Abel of Greenville. If a Ranger hits the Grand Slam this inning, we're giving away $25,000. Only 2 hits for the Rangers tonight from the 6 and 7 spots in the order. The Major League Draft is this evening, and the Rangers have now taken 3 future Rangers. Told you about the first 2, a couple of pitchers. They've just taken their first hitter. We'll get you in on him in just a moment as Kinsler hits one way up in the air towards short. If you're familiar with college baseball, you might know the name of Tommy Mendonca out of Fresno State. Got a big swing, and last year when Fresno State had their Cinderella run in the College World Series, he was the most outstanding player of that series for Fresno, and that's who the Rangers have locked in on. He's a third baseman and definitely a guy who drives a baseball, known as a fly ball hitter with a lot of pop. Rated the number 3 college power hitter out there according to Baseball America. So he has been drafted by the Rangers. Tommy Mendonca of Fresno State. That's actually 2 Fresno State Bulldogs in a row, I guess.
Yeah, pretty good.
Tanner Sheps being the other one.
Oh, you like the sound of the draft so far. 2 frontline pitchers and a power hitting third baseman. Can't beat that.
The current third baseman for these Texas Rangers, Michael Young. And obviously a guy that's going to be around for a while. Ranger fans love that. There's been some power hitting from this current third baseman. Michael's got 8 home runs this year, although only 1 in the last 5 weeks. Ground ball this time. Boy, Brian Talent been very impressive tonight.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's impressive about Talent is you've got a guy that's been a career reliever, at least in his short career. For the 3 years he's been in the big leagues, he's almost been exclusively a reliever. He's had a couple of spot starts here and there. But the guy is consistently pitched at least into the 6th inning and fairly often 7 innings. And so for a reliever, he's pitching pretty deep into games. 88 pitches tonight with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Keeping the ball down, making good pitches, and throwing a real good changeup. Not afraid to throw the changeup back to back. There's 2 of them to lead off the at bat to Andrew Jones. Now, the best changeup he threw was the one that struck out Jared with 2 outs, 2 on in the 2nd after a long at bat.
Well, the Rangers have been doing a lot of that tonight.
They're just not going far enough.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of high fly balls that carry to within about 10 feet of the warning track. They're down in order. We're through 6. Toronto by 5. They have been, but tonight things are getting calmed down thanks to Brian Talent, a 2-hitter through 6. Been a lot of fly balls all around this ballpark tonight. Here's one off the bat of Vernon Wells that'll settle into the crowd. The Rangers have hit 11 fly ball outs tonight. Is that a Jonas brother?
I saw they're going to play the new Cowboy Stadium.
We are told that is Joe Jonas. I got the only 14-year-old daughter in the Metroplex who's not a huge Jonas Brothers person, so
really?
I should know that, but I had to be told that was Joe. So Moscoso will miss by just a little, apparently, here to Vernon Wells. Very close. That's definitely a strike. 2-2 the count. Again, the Angels lead their game tonight in Tampa 4-3. Red Sox are taking apart the Yankees tonight 7-0 in the 7th. Hey, David Ortiz has a home run tonight. Big Papi has hit number 3.
Wonder if he hit it around Pesky's pole. The last home run he hit against the Rangers, I wouldn't even count that. It went about 260 feet. Hit the right side of the foul pole at Pesky's pole.
Vernon Wells lines it into the left field corner. Back home in Arlington. He will coast into second base. And a proud Papa right there. Vernon's dad played football for Jim Schaffner at TCU in the mid-70s. Shared pass-catching duties with Mike Renfro, who went on to a real nice NFL career.
College classmate of our producer tonight, Eric Josephson.
Wow. Life's a great big circle, isn't it?
Wow.
Now, Vernon Wells was a two-sport star here in Arlington. In football, led his team in rushing and passing. And somehow was second in receiving, too. Nice pick by Saltalamacchia.
Yeah, Vernon, had he not signed, was going to play football and baseball at the University of Texas.
And Vernon, that Vernon, played in the CFL for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Now a well-known local sports artist. Beaten on the ground at second base. Kinsler will gobble it up. Vernon Wells will take third. Well, back to the draft. Tommy Mendonça out of Fresno State. And another big power year for the Bulldogs. 27 home runs, 78 runs batted in.
That's a lot of home runs.
Sure is. They talk about kind of an uppercut kind of a swing that he's got. Generates a lot of power. Again, the Rangers already have taken 2 pitchers in the draft tonight. Infield is in. Scott Rowland will take strike 1. Eight hits for the Blue Jays tonight, 2 for the Rangers. Tigers and White Sox tied 3-3 tonight. Brandon Inge, another home run. He's got 13. Having a real nice season. To the gap in right center field. That's trouble. That's going to easily score Vernon Wells. Now, Scott Rowland's been hitting a ton here in Arlington.
Rowland had 2 doubles, 2 singles and a double last night. He's got 2 singles, a double, and a walk tonight. Driven in a run, scored a run.
He's rolling.
He is rolling, and most of his hits are going to right field. Nice job of hitting right there. That pitch is down.
Let him know what I hit.
He drove that thing into the gap in right center field.
Well, this is a guy I remember in his first 4 big league seasons. Drove in 386 runs. That's more than A-Rod had in his first 4 years. More than Manny Ramirez had his first 4 years with a similar number of at-bats.
Only difference was A-Rod was 19 his first year in the big leagues.
That is true. Lyle Overbay now. And that one kicks way away from Saltalamacchia. Goes all the way into the crowd. Not a lot that Salty could do about that. Certainly could not go on a recovery mission for it. That's about as far as you're going to see one of those bounce. And again, the infield's got to come in for the Rangers now. Baltimore beat Seattle tonight by the final of 3-1. It looks like Andrews might have some competition for Rookie of the Year. This Nolan Reimold for Baltimore has hit his 7th home run already. He's been great since coming up from AAA. That ball fouled over near the heckler, but now bouncing away. He's just waiting for Scutaro to come up again. Now, can Scutaro yell at him for not making that play?
If he knew about it.
Tagged into right field. On comes Nelly Cruz. Diving. Couldn't get it. And another Toronto run is in. 7-0 Blue Jays tonight. That is a 15-game hitting streak now for Overbay. And here comes Mike Maddox.
The Blue Jays hadn't been playing very well on the road, but you never know it by the way they played in the first 2 games of this series. A try by Nelly.
Now the Rangers in danger of losing 3 in a row at home for the first time all year. Nelly kind of limping back up there. Now Kevin Millard. Braves lead the Pirates tonight 4-3 in the 9th. Those 2 teams played a 15-inning game yesterday. Padres and Diamondbacks the other night played an 18-inning game. And Arizona's bullpen ended up throwing 9 hitless innings of relief.
Did you see who gave up the game winner in that?
Position player,
Position
right?
player had to come into a tie game.
San Diego was out of pitchers. There's a strike to Millard. The Reds lead the Nationals 1-0 in the 4th inning. But again, Washington figures it's hit a jackpot tonight. They were picking first in the draft and wisely chose Steven Strasburg out of San Diego State. Now they got to sign him.
You know, the other very interesting thing about Washington this year is they also had the 10th or 11th pick in the draft because they couldn't sign their draft pick last year. And so you get a similar pick in the next year's draft. So they had the #1 pick, and then they got a hard-throwing reliever, I can't remember his name, from Stanford. So in the first 10 or 12 picks in the draft, they got a starter and a reliever. We'll see if they can sign him.
Kevin Millard.
Drew Storen is the name of the reliever from Stanford.
Millard is out #2 here in the top of the 7th inning. And yeah, Crow, the pitcher that they couldn't sign from last year, was scooped up by the Kansas City Royals from off the Fort Worth Cats roster. Very similar to the Luke Hochevar situation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, there was a guy pitching right down the road in Fort Worth.
He was picked pretty much same spot in the draft he was picked last year.
It's a big cut for Barajas, strike 1.
Hochevar was the first pick in the draft.
#1 picks over the last several years. Boy, you talk about a hit and miss. Starting this decade, it was Adrian Gonzalez, who obviously is a big hit now. It took a while. Then Joe Mauer, big hit. Brian Bullington in 2002, wah-wah. 2003 was Delman Young. No, solid, not spectacular yet.
Still young.
Yep.
His name is still young.
Yeah, well,
hadn't changed his name.
Well, then Matt Bush, who is still Bush, but he's kind of a washout. In fact, Toronto tried to get him going as a pitcher instead of as a shortstop, but it's just not working.
A couple of those guys, I may be somewhat off on this, but Bullington and Bush were signability cases where I don't think that the team had the okay budget-wise to go out and pick the player they really wanted, so they picked those 2 players, and at least as of now, they have not worked out very well.
Rob Barajas down on strikes. 7th inning stretch. Blue Jays by 7. Sonic drive-in, not just good, Sonic good. Now, the Rangers have now played 15 innings of baseball against these Toronto Blue Jays. They've only scored in one of those 15 innings. They trail tonight 7-0 as Nelly Cruz hits one on the ground to short. And a close play, but he is out number one. It's a two-hitter for Brian Talent. And the Blue Jays with a 4-run second, added one in the fifth, two in the seventh. And Talent, who has not gone past 7 innings in any start this year.
This will be his 11th start, and if he gets through the 7th inning, it'll be the 4th time in 11 starts that he's pitched 7 innings. In almost every other start, he's pitched 6 innings, which that's not bad for a guy who's been a reliever his whole career.
Marlon Byrd's had kind of a frustrating night tonight. Struck out in the second, got under a ball and skied out in the 4th inning. He had that ball get over his head too, the triple by Vernon Wells back in the second. I think the Rangers outfielders found out very quickly tonight that early in the evening especially, the ball was carrying very, very well out that way. Well, again, an exciting night off the field for the Rangers. 3 draft picks in the bank. Tanner Scheppers out of Fresno State. That's got a lot of excitement going, I think, on the message boards tonight, that guy was still available, and the Rangers were able to grab him. Of course, Matthew Perk in the first round out of David Murphy's high school, Klein High School down outside of Houston. Did the beer guy just get hit with that one? Is he all right? And then Tommy Mendonça, the third baseman out of, again, Fresno State, was at number 3 pick for the Rangers this year. Now, here's what happened to the beer guy. Oh, man, right in the back.
Man. Right in the back.
And he's okay. Bird,
watch out.
Yeah, with a hard hit
Hit in
baseball.
the back with that one, or anywhere else for that matter.
That ball went in there real quick.
Get hit in the beer with it, though.
Got hops and barley flying all over the place here tonight. Marlon Byrd tags it to right. That ball drifting to the track, and again it's a just miss for a Ranger getting under it.
A little bit off the end of the bat, didn't really drive that ball. Again, that's credit to Talent for the location of his pitches, the changes in speed, and his ability to make sure the Rangers don't hit the ball off the good part of the bat and drive the ball.
Boggs narrowly missed a home run, but he did get a double back in the second inning. Well, again, congrats all the way around. The Rangers off the field, I think we're going to get some rave reviews for what they've gobbled up in the draft here tonight. A lot of people look at 2 drafts in particular as being just amazing overall. The Tigers back in 1976 got 7 future major leaguers, including Alan Trammell and Dan Petrie and Jack Morris.
Wow.
And then their 7th round pick that year was a shortstop from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo that they couldn't sign. That was Ozzie Smith.
Wow.
Boggs, and again the Rangers are going to say, man, if we just could have centered that on the bat. It's a fly out to right. We'll talk more about the draft, some of the great ones from years gone by when we come on back. 7-0 Toronto. Parade tonight. They did that yesterday too with a 6-3 win. It's 7-0 tonight. Eddie Guardado comes on now, the Verizon call to the bullpen. And after the first few weeks of this season where Eddie just didn't have it going quite yet, well, ever since the end of April, Eddie has just been fantastic.
Yeah, and Eddie said even when he was pitching badly in April, he never lost confidence in himself. Others may have, but Eddie didn't. And he knew it was just a matter of command, and that's something he's always been able to do, and he knew it was just a matter of time before the command came back. Actually, I think he's throwing a little bit harder right now than he was at any time last year for the Rangers. He came into that game in Boston in relief of Kevin Millwood with a couple of men on base, nobody out, middle of the order, and just mowed him down. That was a very impressive outing. Struck out Veritek on a 3-2 changeup.
Hey, you'll never guess who's up.
Let's guess. Marco Scudaro.
Right, which means our heckle guy is having at it again. Scudaro looking for a last laugh. Deposits it just foul down into that left field corner.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what happened with Scudaro, but he has sure turned into an outstanding player this year. Been a fine player. Played every day for the Blue Jays last year, knocked in 60 runs. Just missed an extra base hit right there, but boy, he's taken it to another level this year. Scudaro's on base percentage is .402. Decent slugging percentage too. Slugging percentage is .451. But 18 doubles, 40 walks, 30 strikeouts.
But that guy was anti-Scudaro even before all of that.
Yeah, he knew Scudaro long before
but
this season.
It's so random. It's like when Navin Johnson was picked out of the phone book in The Jerk. We're just going to heckle, let's see here, Marco Scudaro. In the air left field. Brandon Boggs is back. He dropped it. And Scudaro on his way to second base. But things are just not going well for the Rangers tonight at all. Elby scored a 2-base hit for Marco Scudaro, so he's 2 for 5 tonight. Aaron Hill sends one out of play. We were talking last inning, Tag, about some of the great overall free agent drafts in baseball. I mentioned the Tigers bonanza in 1976. You go back to the Dodgers, though, in '68. And the Dodgers are on our mind because they're coming in this weekend. That's the year they got Bill Buckner. They got Tommy Paciorek. Doyle Alexander was in that draft. They got Davey Lopes, Steve Garvey, Ron Say, and, of course, Bobby Valentine. Wow. That is a heck of a draft.
Yeah, and at the time, before Bobby hurt his ankle, he was the best player of all those guys. Bobby hit like 350, 340, something like that in the Pacific Coast League when he was 20 years old. He was an outfielder coming into the draft. Tommy Lasorda turned him into a shortstop that year. Played shortstop. I think Bill Russell got hurt maybe, and he played shortstop that whole year in the PCL. Was the most valuable player in the whole PCL when he was 20 years old. He got traded to the Angels in the Frank Robinson deal.
That ball smoked by Aaron Hill deep to left center field, taking off and getting out. 2 more runs for Toronto, and it's 9-0. The Blue Jays hadn't won a road game in 9 tries coming here to Arlington, and this is not a ballpark that has treated them well in the past, but a 6-3 win yesterday. They're up 9-0 tonight. Rios will swing, send one towards the crowd. All right, some out-of-town scores diverting your attention from this one. The Angels 4, the Rays 3 in the 9th. Cleveland leading Kansas City 8-4 in the 7th inning. Mark DeRosa's got a home run, number 10 for Cleveland. Been a lot of talk about the Indians if they can't get their stuff together soon. Maybe trading away Mark DeRosa. You'd think he'd be a valuable piece of somebody's puzzle.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have a problem finding someone who wants him, that's for sure.
Kinsler makes the play. And the Angels have defeated the Rays. 4-3 the final. Another win for Jared Weaver tonight. He goes to 6-2.
Well, Weaver's kind of anchored their staff all season long in the absence of some of their veteran guys who've been hurt. He's been solid from day one. He's a good pitcher. Maybe the most deceptive starting pitcher in the American League. The way he turns his body to the hitter.
Yeah. Cruz is on. He will make that catch. Well, the Red Sox have defeated the Yankees 7-0 tonight. We're told that Big Papi's home run was dead central, not off the corner of pesky pole.
Well, maybe Big Papi's back.
And Josh Beckett, a 2-hitter. Wow.
Complete game?
Looks that way. Let me check. Get on my magic machine and check for you. Nope, 6 innings. 6 innings, 1 hit, 8 strikeouts. Then Del Carmen, Ramirez, and Bard. A.J. Burnett lasted only 2 2/3 in that game.
Well, you know, when you see that, A.J. Burnett goes into Boston last 2 2/3. It just shows you how well Kevin Millwood and Vicente Padilla pitched in Boston to pitch as deep into the game as they did and as well as they did. Not an easy place to pitch, not an easy place to play. And the Rangers went in there, got 2 well-pitched games, and won a couple of ball games there.
Kinsler has got it. Adam Lind is out. Guardado's off the mound, but Toronto has added to a large lead tonight, 9-0. More on that in just a moment. Off the field, the Rangers have announced that Matthew Perk and Tanner Scheppers and Tommy Mendonça are all potential future Rangers. Got to get them signed now, but a lefty out of a high school near Houston, that's Perk. Out of Fresno State, and now the St. Paul Saints, Tanner Scheppers. And again, a Fresno State Bulldog, home run hitting Tommy Mendonça. All right, now our Verizon call to the bullpen. It's Dirk, not Nowitzki. It is Hayhurst, Dirk Hayhurst, out of Kent State. Canton, Ohio native. And a journalist tag. Did you know that? Dirk Hayhurst.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a what he called the non-prospect diary that he wrote for Baseball America. He's contributed a lot of articles to his hometown newspaper, the Canton Repository. I could not make that up.
At least it's not the other word that rhymes with
It rhymes with that? Lepository?
Yeah.
that one. Davis is down on strikes. Hayhurst struck him out. Now Saltalamacchia, a night where the Rangers have only 2 hits. And you start to look ahead a little bit. Kevin Millwood tomorrow against young lefty Ricky Romero. Ground ball, third base. Crowd a little under 18,000 again here tonight. That's what the Rangers had last night as well. I think a larger crowd expected tomorrow. Got the $1 hot dogs tomorrow night. But frankly, on this homestand so far, Tag, not a lot to shout about. The Rangers had the 1 3-run inning yesterday. That's the only inning in which they've scored in 2 games.
Yeah, and it's weird how baseball works. It's a funny game, but the last game in Boston against Daisuke Matsuzaka, they pounded the ball in that game. They must have hit 15 balls right on the good part of the bat. Some of them were caught, a lot of them weren't. But it hasn't carried over into this series yet.
That ball skipping to second base. And Dirk Hayhurst has a pretty easy bottom of the 8th. It stays 9-0. That guy doesn't look familiar. That's okay. The Rangers just acquired him today. Cash considerations from the Colorado Rockies. Our Verizon call to the bullpen. We're about to meet Jason Grilli. And a guy that certainly has plenty of big league experience anyway. He's been in more than 200 big league ball games. This year, an ERA up around 6 for Colorado. He just had a couple of bad outings in May. His April ERA was about 1.4. But in the relief pitcher game, obviously 1 or 2 bad outings, you get that ERA with the north pointing arrow.
Well, the interesting thing to look at in those stats is he struck out 22 in 19 innings. His walks are high, though. He's walked 13. So you cut down on your walks and you keep throwing the ball that way, and your ERA comes right down with it.
The Blue Jay fan would apparently have the upper hand in that relationship tonight.
She doesn't look happy, though.
No.
I think she was hoping for a closer game. She feels bad for her husband.
Empathy is a good emotion.
Sure.
All right, now we're going to check out Jason Grilli, whose dad, Steve Grilli, pitched in the big leagues for a little while. His dad went into coaching and scouting, and also opened, if you've ever spent any time in Syracuse, New York, you might know that he was a guy that opened the Change of Pace Sports Bar in Syracuse, New York, one of the first real true sports bars in that city. Well, they finally got rolling. And it took Jason Grilli to do it.
Good fastball and a good curveball to do it.
We've seen Grilli with the Detroit Tigers a little bit. On he went to the Rockies.
Well, the Rangers made a real good selection on the waiver wire when they got Darren O'Day. They got Jason Grilli in similar fashion. And if he comes in and has the same kind of impact that Darren O'Day has had, then it'll be a great pickup.
Yep, the waiver wire has been very kind to the Rangers so far in 09. Now, the only 2 hits for the Rangers tonight, they had that second inning double from Brandon Boggs, then a line shot single from Chris Davis in the 5th. It drops that one in. Pretty nice looking pitch to Millard. Now the fastball. Kevin Millwood gets the call for the Rangers tomorrow. When the Rangers have needed a step-up performance to stem the tide, so to speak, Millwood's been providing that all year. Grilli's former team, the Tigers, leading the White Sox 6-3 now in the 8th. Again, a home run for Brandon Inge for Detroit tonight. National League updates. The Reds over the Nationals right now, 3-1 in the 6th inning. Rockies lead the Brewers 3-2 in the 8th. And the Cubs taking apart the Astros tonight 7-0. So it's not a great night for the home teams in Texas. The Astros and Rangers losing by a combined 16-0 tonight. That ball blasted down the left field line. It is foul.
Well, the Eastern Division race continues to tighten up. The Red Sox beat the Yankees tonight. They're tied, and Toronto, after this game, provided they win, will be only a game and a half out.
Wave and a miss, and a nice debut for Mr. Grilli as a Ranger. Now the Rangers need a big time rally in the bottom of the 9th. Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. By Bud Light Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Check out the all-new F-150 and drive one. Ford is the best in Texas. B.J. Ryan takes over for Toronto. This is an exceedingly high-paid relief pitcher. It's supposed to be their closer, but he's on here with it being 9-0 in the ninth. Also, John McDonald in the game at short now. So look at the numbers on B.J. Ryan and why he is not closing these days.
He's had some arm problems. Just doesn't throw as hard as he used to.
Kinsler drives it to right.
Well, that is typical of the Rangers tonight.
Is that 14 fly ball outs, I think?
340 feet fly balls tonight. They've hit a bunch of them.
One fly ball off a Blue Jay bat was tracked by Nelson Cruz. It's our Whataburger play of the game to rob Aaron Hill. Former Toronto Blue Jays prospect Michael Young. Big friendly hop for McDonald. Well, the page will turn quickly enough. The Rangers and Blue Jays again tomorrow. 7:05 first pitch on Fox Sports Southwest. Kevin Millwood will go out there for Ron Washington. And I guess this kind of game tag you just have to quickly forget about.
You just chalk it off. And I'm sure there's a lot of disappointed viewers out there watching the first two games of this series. But I think the thing to keep in mind when you wake up tomorrow and pick up the paper, the Rangers will be in first place in the West by 3 games. And these 2 games haven't gone well. But that's baseball. Come back after beating the Red Sox 2 out of 3, and it just doesn't necessarily follow that you're going to beat the Blue Jays. We'll give it a try tomorrow with Kevin Millwood, though.
Well, tonight it was simply all Toronto. Rangers out hit 12-2, outscored 9-0. So you sweep it away. Come on back tomorrow, and hopefully you are making plans to come